We're going to start slow, so you have a chance to ease into writing JavaScript code in PlayCanvas. We'll start with a quick tour of the PlayCanvas code editor. In this video, you'll learn about the different functions of the code editor and how it can help you use JavaScript. Ready to get started? Then let's open PlayCanvas. There are 3 ways to access the code editor in PlayCanvas. Open the JavaScript, or JS folder, in the Assets pane. Then double-click on the JavaScript file you want to edit. You can also open the code editor from the script pane associated with an object by clicking the Edit icon. Or you can click the code editor icon from the left toolbar in PlayCanvas. When the code editor opens, you can see all the files from the root directory on the left. The work pane on the right shows the JavaScript code you opened in the main tab, and all the other JavaScript code from the root directory code appears in subsequent tabs. Now, in the top navigation menu in Code Editor, there are 6 tabs: File, Edit, Selection, Navigate, Project, and Help. Many of these functions work the same way as they do in any other program, such as New, Save, Close, and so forth. But they are geared to the PlayCanvas menu. For example, Create New command allows you to create a variety of text-based assets and folders. The Edit tab also has a lot of familiar commands, but there are a few unique to PlayCanvas. Find in Files is a search engine that allows you to look up every time a letter, word, or phrase appears in the code. You can turn off or on Toggle Comment to add comments to the code, either from yourself or from another member of your team. JavaScript will ignore the comments when you run the code. You can also set preferences for how your code will appear in the code editor. Although the Selection tab isn't as familiar as File and Edit, many of these commands are intuitively named. If you select a section of code and use Expand Selection from the tab, the code editor will also highlight the sections nearby. And Copy Up will copy the code from the selection above to the selected code. Navigate is also very intuitive. The exception is Open Command Palette, or F1, which is a listing of all the commands in the code editor, so you can do anything from a single place. Here's a helpful shortcut. Use Ctrl+P on Windows or Command+P on a Mac instead of selecting Navigate, then Go. This lets you open and search for files using their names with a special search box. The next tab is Project, which gives you options to leave the code editor to go to the project dashboard or to the editor. Finally, Help shows all the different ways you can find information or learn how to do something. It includes links to the user manual, tutorials, and the PlayCanvas discussion forum. Pay special attention to the API reference, which is a listing of all the JavaScript commands created for use in PlayCanvas. This is an important reference for writing JavaScript code for PlayCanvas applications. We'll talk about writing JavaScript code in these videos really soon. There's also a status bar at the bottom of the screen that always shows you where you are in relation to the project, and whether or not you're connected to the internet at the far right. There's also a status bar on the far right with markers that tell you line by line when something in the code has been changed. So you'll want to check those areas. Finally, let's talk about collaboration. The code editor allows more than one team member to work on the same code at the same time. So if you and I are working on code at the same time, we can both see what the other is doing in real time. This is something you can do, but not necessarily something you should do. It can cause errors or accidental overwrites. If you're going to use a collaborator, make sure you're also in constant communication. Let's call that a best practice. So that's the code editor, which we're going to use a lot from here on out. But before we end this video, what do I always say? That's right, practice. You aren't going to learn how to use the code editor effectively by simply watching a video about what it lets you do. You have to explore, play around, try things. That's how knowledge becomes skill. So go do that, and I'll see you next time when we're going to create a script.